Hello and welcome to Follow Everton. I am Ryan, the channel host and admin. Thank you for joining today on this Sunday afternoon. Sorry about that. We had to put the stream back a couple of times. I have had some engagements this weekend and I'm pretty tired, so I had to put it back a couple of times just to make sure it's fresh enough to come on the live stream. So good afternoon to you all, and keep those comments coming in because very important for the basis of this particular stream today. This is an open forum. We're going to be talking about what's gone on since we did the last stream a few days ago. There's been a few developments, a few players in and out, so to speak. And let me just shut that door because I can hear a little bit of background noise. Bear with me 1 second. 1, 2, 3, and we're back in the room. Sorry, I could hear my missus playing the piano downstairs, and I thought, as nice as that is, it's not part of the Follow Everton stream today. So let's go into some of what's been going on. The England under-21s won the European Championship, and that's very, very good for James Garner in particular because he played out of position at right back for large parts of that tournament and was, by all accounts, according to those who'd watched a lot more of the games than I had. He was outstanding. Now, I did catch glimpses of the final, and he did well. You know, he likes to intercept, and he's very tenacious in that position. And I don't know whether that'll be his long-term position, whether we'll see the best and the most of his qualities at right back. But it's good to have the option of someone who could possibly fill in there at right back and also play in, midfield in a variety of midfield positions. So that's really promising. And congratulations to James Garner on winning the under-21 European Championships. And hopefully he comes back and can cement his place, whether that is actually at right back or in midfield. Now, we would hope it would be midfield, given the lack of options we've got there now. And the fact that Seamus has signed on for another year as right back, and Nathan Patterson hopefully can really kick on and cement his place. But yeah, that's really, really good. And of course, Joao Branthwaite, who spent last year on loan at PSV Eindhoven. He didn't really get any minutes that I can tell. I think he made in 2 appearances. Can anyone clarify? He certainly didn't start in the final, but he's got some very good players in front of him, including Levi Colwill, who's worth apparently around 40 to 50 million pound now. So it's understandable why he's not starting at centre back for the under-21s in most of the games, but he did manage to pick up the trophy. And so congratulations to him. Big confidence booster, and hopefully he can come back to Everton in a few weeks' time with a spring in his step, and can go on to bigger and better things. You know, his potential ceiling is quite high. And we absolutely need centre-backs. I mean, if you look at the options we've got at the moment, Mason Holgate, Ben Godfrey and Michael Keane and James Tarkowski, with all due respect, it's a poor bunch of players. And it's precisely why we have spent 2 seasons fighting relegation. And whilst James Tarkowski is a capable, dependable centre-half, I'm not quite sure any of those options there present a compelling enough argument to start. I certainly think Mason Holgate's time at the club is finished, and I've had enough, really, of Michael Keane. And I don't think Ben Godfrey's shown an awful lot in the 3 years at the club. So the opportunity for Jarrad Branthwaite to come back and cement himself as first-choice centre-half on the back of that trophy-winning international trophy-winning campaign, and of course lifting the Dutch Cup, we need him to come back in really and be good enough, because I'm not confident we've got the money to go on and actually sign a centre-back that we desperately need. Certainly if some of the others are gone, but there's a good one called Yerry Mina who may be available, still free agent. And at this rate, if we're struggling in the market and we've tried for centre-halves, I wouldn't be too surprised or shocked if we ask the question to him again, because he's got quality if he can stay fit. So yeah, congratulations to Jarrad Branthwaite and of course James Garner. And we can't forget Lee Carsley, the former Everton midfielder, was the manager of the under-21 team. So he's done a fantastic job to take that group of players, and I mean, on paper, they're very, very good group. Most of them are playing at a high level in the Premier League, but still, Lee Carsley's put it all together really, really well. And so, could he be a potential Everton manager, Lee Carsley? Is he one to look at for the future? Is he going to go on to big and bright things? Just quickly to the comments. Good afternoon/evening to Emma, Dave, Richo, Pretty, and the Blues, and the rest of you watching. I believe there's over 40 watching at the moment. Hopefully more come on the stream. Keep those comments coming in. And let's try and stay on the topics that we're at the moment, if possible. And comment on what do you think about the European Cup win? Will that give them a big confidence boost coming into the season? And can James Garner and Jareth Branthwaite cement their places as first choice players in this Everton team? Should we be looking to build the team around these players? So, moving on, Duncan Ferguson apparently said that it was strange that Rafa Benitez was appointed Everton manager. This was in an interview with the Liverpool Echo. I found this quite funny, to be honest. He said, it wasn't one I was comfortable with, to be honest. I'm not surprised. Duncan Ferguson is a true blue. And yeah, it was strange for everyone. And also, Mauricio Pochettino apparently is going to have a phone call with Dele Alli and find out what is wrong. Apparently, they had a close relationship when he was the Tottenham Hotspur manager, and he wants to try and get to the bottom of why his career has fallen off a cliff. Dele Alli conundrum is a bit of a weird one because he, I think there's talent there. I think there's ability there. I don't know about his personal circumstances, but in his defense under Frank Lampard, he never once played as a 10 behind Calvert-Lewin with Richarlison in front to the side of him. And we had a good team then under Lampard. When I look back, we're getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And I look back, I actually think we had some good players there, but he's played as a deep line midfielder. And he wasn't that bad. We're comparing him to some of the players we've had to put up with. He wasn't that bad, but look, he's not worth 120k a week. He's not worth a 10 million balloon payment to Tottenham if he makes 7 more appearances on the back of that. I'd like to think we've at least asked the question to Spurs and said, look, he's a Spurs, icon for you. What can we do? We haven't got the money. We're not going to be able to play you the 10 million. Is there anything we can do to renegotiate here some sort of way that he can actually play without us paying you that money? Because we'd like to, give him a chance, but the wages are high enough. Never mind actually giving you an absolute fortune for the privilege. It's too high risk. And as the Blues is saying, Levy would never do that. But, I admire Daniel Levy for that because he's such a strong and shrewd negotiator, and you've seen what he's managed to do with that club. Emma, just going back to Big Dunk, saying she felt sorry that he was shown the door at Forest Green. Well, you can bin your Forest Green Rovers top now. He was fighting a losing battle, but, they like to do things differently there. They've got a woman coach in charge at the moment. It'd be interesting to see whether she gets the job full time. But yeah, Dele Alli, we'll see what happens. Maybe Mauricio Pochettino will take a punt on him as Chelsea manager and come back. I think if we had any brain, we'd be sending him to Saudi Arabia. That it stinks of a Saudi Arabia move. Moving on, El Bilal Toure. We've been linked with him. Apparently, Atalanta had agreed a 22 million euros fee for him, even though we'd offered 40 million, apparently, which was the release clause. And then that was shot down by Fabrizio Romano. Whether he's a good source or not, I'll let you guys decide on that, because I've seen a few suspect things, but certainly with Everton. But apparently there's no actual agreement between the two. And so Everton could still have a chance of making that deal. But it's hard to compete with a team like Atalanta. I mean, they were nowhere near it. For years, they were nothing club. But now they're doing well, and they've done well for a number of years. And Everton can't compete with anyone anymore. If we can't offer the wages, we don't have an exciting project. We used to dangle the European carrot in front of people. And now the only carrot we can offer is rotten and moldy. And the wages we offer, comparable to... I don't know whether we can offer these silly wages anymore to entice them. And offering to pay the clubs that we're signing these players from on installment plans, it's not an appealing package anymore. It's It's very frustrating. But I really do hope El Bilal Toure is one that we can get over the line, because I watched a 3-minute clip of him on YouTube and he looked great in his highlights reel. No, but in all seriousness, we need bodies. And I'm going to come on to why in a moment, because not only did we lose Andros Townsend, Connor Cody, Ruben Vinagre, Yerry Mina, and I'm sure there's others, Tom Davis. There's others as well that we've lost. Let me just fix this stupid headset. It's with a dodgy connection. We've lost even more players. And we'll talk about that now. Let me just get that up. Yeah, first and foremost, we have sold Ellis Simms-Samuels-Smith to Chelsea. Fee is rumored to be about £3 to £4 million. He is a 17-year-old left back. Now, how have we gone from Baines, Luca Dean, Anthony Robinson, and all these options at left back? The succession planning, poor. We've ended up with, some people have described him as someone who won a competition to play football for Everton in Vitaly Mikalenko. Very, very distinctly average player. Awful going forward. And, you're then looking at who can come through. Have we got anyone coming through we could fast track and develop into a first team player, save us some money? And that's what good football clubs do. You've got two ways of running the academy: make players for us, or make players if they're not good enough for the academy, for Everton, for Premier League, sell them, make money like we've done with Ellis Simms, who we'll talk to. Or if they're good for us, develop them and then sell them on and make a load of money like we've done with Anthony Gordon. So the academy's got to be profitable and do things like that, especially if we're not making money commercially. The only way we can make money is player trading. Whether we're doing that well or not, I'll leave you to decide. But with Samuel-Smith, it's frustrating because we need a left back coming through. He's jumped ship. He wants to go to Chelsea. Don't know his personal circumstances, but if he's getting offered 25, 30K a week at 17 years old on a 3-year deal, it's a sort of contract, 30K a week, 52 weeks in a year. You're looking at, if my maths is correct, it's like 1.5 million a year. 30 times 52. No, that's probably not right. 30,000 times 52. Yeah, 1.5 million a year. So it's 1.56, obviously, but you do round it up or round it down, make it easier for yourself. But he's gone to Chelsea, and if he's getting 1.5 million a year for 3 years, 4.5 mil, and if he doesn't make it as a professional footballer, that is him set for life. He can get a house, he can buy properties, all these sorts of things he can do with that, invest the money, look after his family as well. So I don't blame him for going if we've only offered him £3,000 or £5,000 a week. But if he is a top talent, as Chelsea and Man City and all these clubs have alluded to, we should have probably offered him a good contract and tried to show him a pathway here. But there's no pathway at Everton, really. Man City are winning the league and the pressure stakes are high, and they're still blood their youngsters. You could argue they get carried, but they don't. They give them a chance. Everton generally can't afford to give players a chance, even though we need to try and find a way to get players coming through the academy and into that first team. So the Samuel-Smith's one, yeah, I understand from the player's perspective why he's gone for the contract. Maybe the lifestyle in London as well. The other side of it, obviously, Everton getting 3 and 4 million quid. We have to prioritize the here and now. I think, of course, we can look at the future and the academy and what's coming through and 5 to 10 year plan in due course. But I think the main thing is we need money now to get players who are going to keep us in the league, to make sure we start Bramley Moore as a Premier League team. Because you could imagine if we weren't, or worse, if we moved mid-season and ended up getting relegated. It's the sort of thing that can only happen to Everton. The Blues are saying can't compare City's youngsters to ours, though. But where do we finish in the under-21 league last season, Blues? I'm saying he'll probably be loaned out. Yeah, I mean, of course, they've got Ben Chilwell and Cucurella in front of them. So he's not going to go straight into that first team. The Blue Skies, yeah, 4 million for Smith. In theory, that's a good deal. Wezzo's saying he thinks it's a recommendation to Chelsea. I wouldn't be surprised. No loyalty from Lampard to us, so he just wants the best for his team, Chelsea. Welcome, Kevin. Everton Rose, thanks for dropping in. Much appreciated. I was watching your stream before. I've watched pretty much every stream of yours, your little short streams. Check out Everton Rose if you haven't already. So let's move on from Smith. Talk about some positive news. If you look at it this way, it's Joao Virginia, the Everton goalkeeper, signed a new 2-year contract. Now I thought, okay, there's a space for a backup left back, backup left back as well at Everton, of course. Space for a backup goalkeeper with Asmir Vegovic leaving and looking to join Luton Town potentially. And with Joao Virginia, he went to Reading. He played 2 appearances, and I think that he was really poor. Didn't get a sniff after that. And then he went to Sporting Lisbon. I think again he played like 1 or 2 games. I think he was like a backup player there. And then he went to a team in Holland that the name doesn't ring a bell off the top of my head, but begins with a C. And they got relegated from the Dutch top division. I think Joao Virginia made 17 or 18 appearances for them. Not quite sure the context of it. Obviously, I don't follow Dutch football to that level. But he's come back. I don't know whether he's going to be Everton's backup keeper, because imagine if he isn't that good, getting relegated with a Dutch team. He's only 23. This thing is it's a big learning curve for him. Hopefully he's learned a lot. But if something happens to Jordan Pickford and then we needed to throw him in for 3 months, it's a massive, massive concern. For me, it's a big risk. I'd like to think we're getting an experienced option, and don't start claiming 40-year-old Andy Lonergan is that option. But Joao Virginia has signed a new 2-year deal. I'd like to think he's going to go out on loan, get more experience and play first team and develop, and then come back maybe next season and be the backup and then rise from there. But I think he could end up being the backup goalkeeper at Everton. Just on goalkeepers, I was having a conversation before, and I think a good club, this is not going to be popular. They have the succession planning, and they look to ways they could play a trade. What about selling Jordan Pickford? Right, hear me out. 60 million quid to Man U or Chelsea, 70 million even. I'm going to sign James Trafford, who's going to Burnley for 14 million, and making your money that way and selling. I mean, this is what we always should have sold the better players and replaced them well. And I can't think of one time apart from when we sold Joleon Lescott and signed Sylvain Distin, have we actually replaced players well. But just a thought. I mean, I don't want to lose Jordan Pickford. Obviously, I think he's our best player, kept us up. But just thinking of if we're that skint for money and there are options out there, it's probably too much of a risk to do. It really is. Ignore me. Rose is asking, what's your thoughts on the left back situation and striker situation? Left back situation, I just don't know if you saw that, but I've got no patience for Vitaly Mykolenko. I think he crosses the halfway line at a snail's pace. He can't cross a ball. I can't think of one time he's crossed the ball on someone's head and we've scored, or a low cross. Everything's always in front of or behind the striker, or easy for defenders to clear. Really, really poor. Defensively, I think he's quite good. Because of he's quite stocky, but he's not particularly quick, so he can't push up and get back. I really can't stand him, and I think he was given a little bit of a free ride in the early days. But I don't think we can progress as a club with these sorts of players. You need attacking fullbacks. You need players who can get up and contribute. Look at Anthony Robinson, who we sold to Wigan and now at Fulham, and now Man City want him. He's a sort of really good footballer who contributes. He's so tenacious defensively. He's got that speed. He covers the ground so fast. I just don't understand how we can see potential in that player and then allow him to go for 2 million and not have a buyback. Or it's absolutely infuriating me, really. But the striker situation, I'm going to come on to, if that's okay, because we're going to talk about Ellis Simms, and I think that'll connect him really well. So we've talked about Smith. We've talked about Joao Virginia. Let us know what you think in the comments. And there was some other things we needed to talk about, and I'm just going to check my notes if that's okay. So many things going on, isn't there? Right. Okay. So new deal for Virginia, right? This is a big one. Ellis Simms. Now, what I saw on the highlights reel of Ellis Simms scoring goals at championship level, Yeah, he scored the goals, but there was a lot of sort of lucky, bad goalkeeping and sort of fluky goals. And certainly in Scotland, he finished, but did I ever reasonably think he was the answer at Everton Football Club? No, I don't think he's got a lot of aggression. He doesn't cover the ground or press very well. For a big lad, we don't often see that physique, although he did brush Koulibaly for that goal at Chelsea, which we'll thank him forever for. But I wasn't looking at sort of a powerhouse forward who can press and be an absolute nuisance. I think his level probably is where he's gone to. 3.5 million up front, could rise to 8 million. Reasonable add-ons based on goals and appearances. Do I think we'll meet those add-ons? Probably. Do I think Coventry will get promoted? No. So I think we'll end up with the 6 million. But if he wasn't going to make it at Everton, then fair enough for selling him. Is that a good deal? You let me know. Is that what you think he's worth? I would have liked a little bit more up front. I'll be honest with you. I would have liked 5 or 6 million up front. But it's pure profit on the books, and I think if we're not going to use him, and clearly Dyche doesn't rate him, and I think a lot of people didn't rate him, but we kind of cling on to anything we can out of desperation. Yeah, it's the right thing to let him go. So good luck to Ellis Simms, who's departed and joined Coventry City. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to get Victor Gyökeres, or however you pronounce his name, from Coventry City back, because he's going to go to Sporting. Ironically, we play at Goodison Park in the last pre-season friendly before the Premier League season starts. But Ellis Simms, yeah, I don't think he was a solution, but you have to sell him on the basis that we are going to get forwards in, because you're looking at that now, and we've got as options Neal Maupay, 1 goal in like 29 games for Everton last season. Blimey. Calvert-Lewin, 7 goals in 2 seasons for Everton. And then you've got Tom Cannon, who's an unproven youngster. I think he'll go on to do quite well. Thank you, Kevin. He'll go on to do quite well. But you're placing a big risk on that, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to be convinced otherwise that Calvert-Lewin's going to suddenly play 38 games next season. He'll probably do the same. It'll be the same. His body is not there anymore. The pressure has got to be taken off him. And if that option is Tom Cannon, it's a massive risk. I don't want to see Neal Maupay anywhere near the team. I don't think he offers absolutely anything in this system. I think he can go elsewhere and have a good career as kind of the link and the join-up player. Go back to Brighton even, but he's not going to work at Everton as a number 9, dropping in and trying to hold the ball up. It's not working. The striking situation, obviously, got to get players in. I mean, I've said we need a left back. In an ideal scenario, and Everton are not going to do this, we need a left back. We need a centre half. We need a central midfielder. We need a right winger. And we need 2 forwards. And one of those forwards has got to be a number 9. And the other's got to be someone who can play up front or on the wings. Now, that's exactly what we need. We'll probably get a backup left back. I think we need a first choice left back. Probably get a centre half to compete with the others. But I think we absolutely need a left-sided centre half, first choice. If it's not Jared Branthwaite, then we need a first choice centre half coming in. Midfielder, I think we need someone with a little bit more guile. Maybe Andre Gomez could fill a role this season. We don't know. He's still got a year on his contract, but I think we need a little bit more of a playmaking type, because all of those options, you could argue James Garner is that, but I think we need a little bit more quality in there for certain games, certainly at home where we're going to be dictating the play, and we'll try to dictate play and take the initiative. And then on the wings, Iwobi, he can't cross. He doesn't score. 2 goals last season. Damari Gray, 2 goals from open play, really poor, output. And I love Dwight McNeil. He's probably my favourite player, the only good player. But you're looking at the lack of options. So we absolutely need someone who can play on the right side of midfield and possibly also contribute on the left. And then up front, it's blatantly obvious why we need a striker, because we score up there with the lowest goals in the league. And I suspect, if the season started tomorrow, we'd be relegated because we haven't got the goals. We didn't have the goals last season, and you've just taken out 5 or 6 players from the team. We can't fill a bench. It's getting to the point where some of you guys in the comments will end up playing for Everton out of desperation. And let's just go on to the comments just before we move on to one of the other points. Stu's saying it's hard to judge Ellis Simms. I think the guys who've seen him in training and obviously at loan have made that decision what his level is at. Peter says he doesn't care about if a forward presses. I just think under Dyche, he likes his players to press as, aggressive and intense. And I think when Simms did play, there was a notable drop off in quality in terms of what he could press compared to the likes of Gray or some of the others. So that's just an observation that I've made. Asim is saying, hi Asim, he's saying, hi mate, I'm losing patience with this team. I'm bored, worrying season ahead. I think most of the players we've got are not good enough. And we need 7 or 8 players. Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, Jeff on the channel thinks we'll be all right with a couple of players. We'll do okay. But I can almost guarantee you 2 months into the season, he'll be going, they're just not good enough. Because they aren't. Insanity is expecting something to happen without, putting the fundamental changes in place. Pimaka, the shite sold Brewster for 20 million. We gave ours. Yeah, they do noticeably get better money for their prospects than us. Oh, don't get me started, mate. I can't be asked with another conversation about the board and all that sort of stuff. Right. There is one more thing on the agenda, and then you can talk about whatever you want. This is, I can see you talking about in the comments. Thanks for your patience. This is Ashley Young. Now, when this rumor got posted, I thought, no, not even Everton. And then I thought more and more into it. I thought, yeah, this has got to be true, hasn't it? Ashley Young on a free transfer. It absolutely stinks of Everton. We offered James Milner a contract, who's gone to Brighton. Ashley Young, I think he was at Watford maybe around the time Sean Dyche was player or manager. Not quite sure. I think it was Sean Dyche's end of his career or maybe manager. There's some sort of connection there. But he's 38 years of age. He's a 38-year-old player playing fullback, or on the wing. Now, Villa fans say with good authority that he was one of their better players last season and played left back and right back, mostly at right back, but played a lot of games at left back. And they would have liked to have seen him kept on, for the European. They're in the Conference League, and they would have just played Young pretty much in all the Conference League games. But that hasn't happened. Maybe, I don't know what the circumstances are. But we've been linked with this guy, Ashley Young. I thought it was some sort of joke, to be honest, but can beggars be choosers at this stage if he's got a little bit of quality and can do a job at 38? Can beggars be choosers now? 50k a week? It's a lot of money. Some people will argue that he'll come in and start at left back ahead of Vitaly Mykolenko. He can take a set piece. He has kept himself in good condition, but for me, overall, I would say, fair enough. He can contribute. Beggars can't be choosers. If he's still in good condition, why not do a job, utility player? But on the other hand, the very cynical side of me saying, how the hell have Everton let go a 17-year-old prospect to Chelsea and bring in a 38-year-old washed-up journeyman in Ashley Young? How have the scouting team in the whole of football worldwide, in the Americas, in Europe, how is the conclusion that the best option is Ashley Young? Now, this stinks of desperation. And for me, this purely says one thing: we need to stay in the league. That's all they've got their eye on. We're not taking any risks. But if that is the answer, then what is Kevin Thelwell doing? What is he doing? Please tell me in the comments what you think of this. Now, I'm not slating Ashley Young. He might be able to do a job. He might be good enough for a team looking to finish 17th. But if he is the answer, then what are the scouts doing? What are the people doing the negotiations doing? And what's the recruitment doing? What's the academy doing? Producing for the other teams. So it's unbearable. And some points on this that I'm going to bring in what you've said. Kevin's shocked. He's 38. Yeah, he's 38 today. Ashley, not so young, will not save us. Going through Ashley Young's a bit desperate. It does. It really is desperate. Peter saying he'd rather... Can't read it. You can read it. He doesn't want to see Ashley Young in an Everton shirt. There's some people who really don't like the guy for his days at Man U, etc. And We're skint, yeah, but we're paying him 50K a week apparently. Pretty saying he thinks he'll go straight into the left back. I wouldn't be surprised. He's probably better than both Patterson and Mikolenko. But that's the sad reality, isn't it, really? And that just highlights how bad our recruitment is at fullback and in every bloody position, really. You know, the more I think about this, I did a stream with Chris the other day, and after, or I think maybe even during the stream, we went through the squad, who would we sell and keep? And it was unbearable in pretty much every single position, apart from in goal and possibly central midfield. The wide options are atrocious. The fullback options are abysmal. The centre half options stink the place out. And up front, there's nothing. And you can't sit and convince me. And I know I'm one of the more negative people of this channel, but you can't convince me that we'll be okay without recruitment over the course of 38 games. There's a comment there. Just going through these comments. You could talk about anything you want now, by the way. Keep them coming in. We'll bring it up. He kept Dean out the team. Yeah, well, we're not disputing his quality, really. I don't think. I think we're just very frustrated. Wes saying Aaron Cresswell, 33, this to hate the team. Yeah, he's a big Liverpool fan. He might want to come back to Liverpool. I think, you know, ultimately, if you're a footballer, you go there. It shouldn't make a big difference. But yeah, Cresswell. Blimey. Don't even think he's first choice left back at West Ham anymore. Yeah, I'm not sure I disagree there. I've seen a lot of quality from the others, but if you're basing it off his European Championship games, then you could say he's a very good case to play right back next season. But it certainly worries and leaves us with a few options, too few options in midfield. Some comments, just trying to. Thelwell playing with a bad hand. He can only recruit with the funds he's got available. Well, he got 2 million for Nielsen Kunku, which was actually really poor business. They're selling him to Eintracht Frankfurt, and he's going to be a full international for France. So shocking. That's one that really winds me up. And also the Conor Cody one. Why didn't we sign Conor Cody and then have a deal with Leicester to sell him straight away for like 3 million more, 2 million more, even £1 million more? This is what you should be doing. Everything we do is so bloody amateur. 2 million for Nkunku, 4 million for Smith, that's 6 million, 3.5 million or whatever for Sims, that's 10, call it 10. Right, and then we had the Moist Key money, the Gordon, but let's just say that's all just gone down the pan, so we've got 10 million quid. And even that's probably not going to get put in the team. At this rate, yeah, Richo, we probably will end up with Phil Jagielka coming back. He could do a job on a 1-year deal. Stu saying Brand's brought in. He said we're not buying players over 23. Where's this director of football interview? At least Marcel Brands did do an interview a couple of times as Everton manager. And Brands did make some good signings, but we did pay a fortune for them and huge wages. It's like we've given up on all hope now. So yeah, if there's anything else anyone else wants to talk about, then I'm willing to bring it up on stream now. Of course, if you're new here, please subscribe, turn notifications on, and hit the like button for me, whatever platform you are watching on. That is kind of my update on affairs going on and my thoughts on that. And I will be back again later in the week and kind of reacting to whatever's going on. I do hope we'll get some of our other pundits to appear at some point this century on the show. And it would be great to have you with us on the next streams. Just seeing if I've missed anything on the notes. I think to be honest, I've covered absolutely everything. You could say there's one more thing. Ndiaye, the Sheffield United midfielder, has rejected a move to Everton again. We tried to sign him in January, but he's rejected another move for Everton. He wants to go to Marseille. Obviously, he's a French-speaking player. South of France is very nice, and you can't blame him for that. Right, guys. I think that's going to be all from me. Dan, Wesley's asking about Danjuma. I think that was just rumors, isn't it? It's just someone's making that up. Have we got enough players for 11v11? No, I think we've got 18 senior professionals or 17 senior professionals, and half of them are absolutely shocking. Most of them are centre halves, so there's a lot of under 23 players at the moment, put it that way. But I'm sure they're aware of the reality of the situation and are on the case in some capacity, even if things are moving horribly slow. Would I have Perot from Swansea? Blue Skies, I'm not sure. I can't comment on this guy. I've not really seen anything. But what I've been told is he's a better finisher than Ellis Simms. Stu, I want to go to town on the piss, but I've got to work tomorrow. Yeah, it's nice and sunny. This weekend I've been up to Leeds for work and then Doncaster. I got in 3 a.m. last night. I scheduled the stream for 3 o'clock in the afternoon, fell asleep on the couch and woke up at 5 minutes to 5 and had to delay it by 30 minutes. But it is looking sunny out. But why don't you go and have one drink and then come home or go and sit in the sun, Stu? The Blues are saying Perot would start for us. Kevin's saying Dele. Yeah, in pre-season because we've got no one else. I don't think he's quite fit. Oh, by the way, Jean-Philippe Gbamin is injured. He's out till August. I've had on good authority that Gbamin's got an injury. But I wonder whether that's just so we don't have to bring him back for pre-season while we're looking for another club. What's happening with Rodrigo? I see him. Thanks for that question. There hasn't been any update. I believe last week the talk was £3 million for Rodrigo, and he was talking to one of the other clubs, maybe Valencia or Sevilla, who was interested. But I think they pulled out of the race, and then Everton have said that they'd be interested in signing him for £3 million and giving him a 2-year contract. And I think got 13 goals last season, so you could argue that's a bit of shrewd business. And if you bring him in as the experienced option alongside a younger, promising marquee signing and keep Calvert-Lewin, then I think, you give us more hope. We need to bring in players who are going to score 20 goals next season combined and take the places of the players who don't score goals. But overall, you've got to have more output from everyone. If you've got, we had left back and, Coleman used to score 5 goals a season. Baines used to chip in and score a few penalties and free kicks and stuff. And you just gradually lost goals and goals in every position. Even Gylfi Sigurdsson was chipping in 8 to 10. Richarlison, double figures. We've lost goals from every position. We've got a workman-like midfield, but they don't score a lot of goals. We've got wingers who don't score goals. McNeil's improved definitely, and he's our best player now. But it's not shaping up to be very well. Rodrigo would add some quality. Just Neil Maupay, yeah, and I think we should send him back there possibly as part of a swap deal. Yeah, but the fans will not tolerate this. Keane starting over Branthwaite. I think we want to see a bit of Branthwaite, and if he's not good enough, we can accept that. But definitely don't want to see Michael Keane as first choice. Mark saying his granddad's 89 could play left back. Yeah. Perot is levels ahead of Maupay technically, but that's not hard. Yeah. Right, guys, I'm feeling a little bit tired now, so I'm going to wrap things up, and I'll be back on a future stream. Please like and subscribe. Pleasure to have your company. I know there was over 70 of you watching live, and I'm sure we'll be back. Chris is back, part of the channel as well, after his excursion, so we'll hopefully see some Chris videos coming up. Wish you all the best. Have a lovely Sunday evening, and if you watch it back, hope you're all well, and I'm going to go and get my head down now and have a little bit of a rest. So I'll see you very soon. Hopefully, please, we can get some players in. We're so desperate. It's so infuriating. Oh, by the way, quite funny. You'll laugh at this, guys. I got a 12-hour Twitter ban. Richo, I know you subscribed, mate. You've been subscribed for ages. I got a 12-hour Twitter ban because I commented on Gerard Deulofeu's tweet saying, come home. And then I commented again on it saying, whip balls onto Maupay's head, or come back and whip balls onto Maupay's head. And I got an automated message coming up saying, you're in the sin bin, basically. And I had to delete the tweet and was given 12 hours in the ban. And then I appealed to Twitter and said, why have you banned me? I'm talking about football. And they said, no, you're basically serving this ban. I was like, what do I give you the fucking 10 quid a month for Twitter Blue? But yeah, I served a 12-hour ban, my first in 14 years of being a Twitter member, for something which was completely taken out of context. But it's quite funny. Anyway, absolutely exhausting. Go and do something else now. Try and get some players in, hopefully Everton, so we've got something positive to talk about. I'm not particularly looking forward to watching these preseason games. I've got to be honest with you, watching Keane and Tarkowski pass it sideways before hooping it up to McNeil and hoping for the best. It absolutely is giving me nightmares thinking about it. It really is. Get some players in, up the toffees.